Hi, welcome to How to Write an Office in Java in 30 Days. And today we're going to talk about the plan. This is day 1. So today is probably going to be one of the days that we're not going to write code. So what are we going to do? First we're going to use a Scrum and we're going to write a user story. So here it's not really Scrum, but I have just one user story from an unhappy customer using either to have to pay for his office or using still an open source office, but it's in C++ and it's LGPL. And after 30 days, we have a happy office user that has found a free office in Java and open source under the Apache license. Okay, that's what maybe not really Scrum, but that's the idea. Just one sprint to do it. So first we need to register the website for it. So the name is Joeffice, and I've registered 3 websites. The first one will be joeffice.com, where will be presented the product at itself. So it's there that you'll be able to download it, to see the screenshots and everything what's of a normal product, also the advantages of it. Then we'll have joeffice.org. This one is more for the development community and participation. You don't need to be a developer. You may want to translate. You may want to improve the documentation of it, and so on. So it's really the documentation part of it and participation of it. It's more like, I would say, the project page. And then you'll have joeffice.net, and this one will be dedicated to the online version of the Office. So here you'll be able to have it in your browser. So registration, I've done it in Bluehost. I've tried also, for example, I think some times ago, PowerWeb, but one of the advantages of both is, of course, it's not that expensive, but it's also quite quick to download files, especially big files. So it's very practical, for example, for the applet, or if you want to do, because the Office is, of course, will be a few megabytes, so it's more practical to have a fast server. So here we have, I've registered the 3 domain names. Then I also created a page, a product page on Facebook, so that if people like it, you will be able to like also this page on Facebook. Then I needed a logo, so I've decided just to write like this in a Koyenu format, Joeffice. Of course, it may gonna change if it's getting more popular, if people are contributing to the logo and so on. I was thinking of using the Comic Sans because it's quite used within the scientific world, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna use Koye. So I've tried to upload it for the Facebook page, but apparently the image was too big. It was not quite big image, but say it needs to be at least 180 pixel wide. You see that it's 220 wide, 21 pixel wide, but still it's still complaining that it should be at least 180 pixel wide. So I don't know why, but well, a bug for Facebook. Okay, so here we have Facebook page. Here is the URL, so you can like it. If you're interested in the project, just go there. You'll probably also have news and so on. So then we have the choice of hosting our source code for the project. One of the very popular at the moment is called GitHub, which is hosting projects. Then you have SourceForge, it's a historical one. It contains also a lot of projects. You have Google Code that also contains, it's also a hosting site for open source projects. And you have project Kenai. Kenai is from Oracle, and it's also hosting a lot of open source projects, and especially Java open source projects. You have many more, so you can follow the URL that's going to Wikipedia. And I decided to go for the Bitbucket, another one. So Bitbucket is also an online repository and so on for open source project, but also for not open source project. It's free for open source project, hopefully for me. and it contains why I've chosen Bitbucket, why I have many reasons for it. First thing, it's created by people from Atlassian. Atlassian is a company that started in Australia, uh, writing Java software. They're very well known within the Java world, very popular. They've written, for example, Java, and I would be able to use Java within Bitbucket. They have also a very nice tool to fork the code and pull and so on. So it will be very easy to merge different sources of code, especially for a big project like an Office suite. If I have like more than 100 developers in it, you will be always need to merge code from one to another and so on. Uh, so as I said, there were no Java club with quality products such as Java, but they also have like things like Confluence and so on. So that's one of the reasons. Then they have a choice of DVCS. What is a DVCS? It's a repository system, a content source control system that is a bit distributed. Instead of being central point where everybody has to commit on this central point, you can commit on different central points. Most of the time you commit only locally, and then you push your commit within what's called the main branch or not. Or you have different main branches that goes at the end into one main branch and so on. And also I want to have people as much as possible participating in this project. And one of the advantages with it is you don't have to create an account for it. If you're using GitHub, for example, you need to have a GitHub account and so on. Here you can use your Google account, you can use a Facebook account, a Twitter account, even a GitHub account to sign it, to submit bugs, for example, and so on. You don't have to create a specific account to submit a bug or to submit code. So here I am, just return my username, email from it. Then about version control that I just talked about. So you have different choices. You have Subversion, which is a centralized version of code control. You have Mercurial, and you have Git that are more distributed. I've already used a bit Git in the past. I've used many times Subversion, but this time I'm going to go for Mercurial, and we'll see a bit later why Mercurial. First, it's decentralized, so it's a bit better than Subversion. It's because it's going to be a quite big project. So if you have a lot of developers always committing, you'll continually have conflicts with it. Yeah, I think it's quite easy to use. I think it's probably easier to use than Git. It's more user-friendly, I would say, than Git. And it's largely used by Oracle. So it's used, for example, for the project like Java, OpenJDK. You have a project also like NetBeans that is also using Mercurial, and so on. So I guess it's quite well supported also by the Oracle tools. So we just create a new project, just name, we're going to have a wiki, issue tracking, and we're going to use Mercurial, and it's a Java Office. So I'm not going to add some codes now. We'll see in 30 days. It's going to be there. Then I'm going to do a presentation, one per day. So here I've written a very small program using JEdit. You saw starting that is creating 30 directories, and within all the directory I will have a presentation text file where I'm going to write what I've done this day. So here we have executing the program now with 30 directories, in each directories a presentation text. Then I'm going to launch it using LaunchRock. LaunchRock is a platform where people can subscribe to a launch of a website or of a project. So here I'm using LaunchRock. I'm going to create a specific website for the launch. It has social media integration, so you can share this project within LaunchRock, and then ask people to subscribe to the launch of this new office. So here we have, I don't still have to finish the progress, but it will come with there. And I'm going to add the link in the show notes. Then, of course, an application needs some icons. So I'm going to also write today the icons for it. So here was a bit the idea from there. So it's an Office suite with a word processor, spreadsheet, presentation, and database. So I've put a bit all of them within there. I also needed one specific part because for all documents I will need also a specific icon. So I'm using Inkscape, which is creating CSV file, scalable vector graphics files. Had some problem with the rescaling. As you see, it's suddenly also it's a bit blur and you don't recognize that it's a document of a spreadsheet. So then I'm using another tool which is called EcoFX. I'm using it's a quite old version when it was still freeware. It's no longer freeware, it's shareware, but I still have the old version. And here you can see that the 16 by 16 icon is looking quite better than the one with resizing it. So now we also need an IDE to develop it. So the most well-known as IntelliJ IDE, Eclipse, and NetBeans. And I'm going to go for NetBeans. We'll see you in a time later. The NetBeans 7.3 just had been released, so I'm just going to download it and use it, this one. I don't need to have the Groovy part or the server-side part and so on, so just download the basic version. It's just a Swing application that I'm writing. I'm going to also need to update my GTK 7 apparently from there. So, okay, let's download the new version of GTK 7 and install it. Also download the Apache license because I'm going to distribute it under the Apache license. So I need to put it somewhere within the distributions. Then on here also most of my websites directory. So now I'm going to add a new directory named Joeffice. I'm going to create the free website today also, joeffice.com, joeffice.net, and org. So I'm going to reuse the templates that I bought for writing ncommander.com. Ncommander is a free file manager written in Java. And it's a website I'm using a specific template for it. So here I have just to copy it for also my Office. Then I need to activate also. I've just bought the website, but then you need to activate it. So let's activate. Let's create a 5 icon for it based on the icon that I've just created using EcoFX. And just have just one basic page at the beginning. Okay, so now we also need another thing. This is test document. So I'm going to write an Office, but I need to open documents to see if it's working or not. So I'm going to write simple documents and documents with more complicated, for example, different fonts or different colors and so on, or adding a table within a document, or using bold, italic fonts and so on. So here we have using just LibreOffice to create one document with different font colors, alignments, and so on. So that will be your test documents. You see different, try to support a bit everything that is in a word processor. Here you have a menu and you have styling. Here we have, for example, a spreadsheet with 3 pages on there. In the third page, you also have a graph. Here you have borders, you have formulas, you have hidden columns, hidden rows. Here is a presentation created with it, with a special theme. You have different layouts, also within the different colors also. Here's this one I've created also a CSV file. So it's just a text file that we're going to try to support. And you see, it's just this is a text file that you're viewing into my text editor that I wrote while writing NCommander, the file manager that I've just talked about. So that was it for day one. Quite a busy day and of writing an Office suite in Java. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'm gonna put also videos every day from now on until day 30, when I'm gonna put also with it the release, the new Java Office, open source Java Office in Java. Bye.